am Lights Camera Jackson. Happy Father's Day and welcome to today's episode of LCJ Live. It is Sunday, June 18, 2023. Hope you're doing well. Maybe you're going with your father or your grandfather to the movies today or watching something at home. There are new movies in theaters. They're doing okay, but not spectacular, including The Flash and Elemental. We'll get to those box office results in a second. As always, if you're watching here live on YouTube Live, you can send in your questions and your comments, and I'll read them right here. Your number one movie for this Father's Day weekend is The Flash, with 55.1 million, which is significantly lower than most people thought it was going to do this weekend. There were estimates, about a month ago, as high as 80, 90, could it even get to $100 million? Then about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, it started going down to about 75, went down to 70. And over the course of this weekend, starting with Thursday night and into the Friday results, went from 70 to 65 to 60, and now we're at 55. $55 million for The Flash is a couple million shy of the total for Shazam! Fury of the Gods earlier this year. It is not yet the highest grossing movie of the year for Warner Brothers. It still needs about $10 million to do that to pass Evil Dead Rise. I thought it was automatically going to be the biggest movie of the year, but it could not get there. And it's $12 million less than what Black Adam opened to last October with its 3-day start of $67 million. Wow. Now, it will make another, they say, $9 million tomorrow for Juneteenth. A lot of people are off tomorrow. A lot of kids are off. That's going to help The Flash. It's going to help Elemental, Spider-Verse, and pretty much every other movie that's out this weekend. But, wow, $55 million. $9.7 million of that was from Thursday. The rest of it from Friday, Saturday, and today. That is a bad start. Warner Brothers got to be shaking their heads going, oh my gosh, I thought this was the one that was finally going to rejuvenate DC and get everybody excited and get our box office year finally going. Nope. Now Warner has to wait another month, a little over a month, for Barbie to come out on July 21 to actually have an impact on the box office year for sure. Now Flash will cross 100 million, but is it going to get to the 168 of Black Adam? I don't know. At this point, I'm not sure about that. Barbie, by the way, opens July 21. Tickets not yet on sale. Oppenheimer from Universal, which also opens July 21, tickets are, tickets are on sale, and from what I have heard from multiple sources, the pre-sales for Oppenheimer are very strong. They are stronger than initially anticipated. So maybe we're going to really have a battle after all. I was thinking, oh, Barbie's PG-13, Oppenheimer's 3 hours. It does have the IMAX screens and the premium formats. And I thought Barbie's going to hands down win the weekend. Maybe not anymore. We will have to see. Now, your number two movie is Elemental. And I'm glad it's number two. I'm glad Spider-Verse also doing extremely well. But if Elemental was going to lose to Spider-Verse this week, that would have been rough. It barely beats Spider-Verse by $1.7 million, but it does. $29.5 million for Pixar's Elemental, $27.8 for Sony's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is up to $280 million. Here's the thing. People are going to make these headlines. Well, Elemental with $29 million. I think $29 million is what Toy Story opened to back in 1995. Onward made 39. The Good Dinosaur had a 3-day of 39, a 5-day of 55, I think, something like that. It's one of the lowest opens ever for Pixar. It is. I am glad that Pixar movies are back in theaters. We had it with Lightyear last year. This is a good movie. Elemental is a good film. It's not really for kids. Not that it's inappropriate. It's not inappropriate. Kids will find a lot out of it. The visuals, the story a little bit, the comedy. There's a little bit of comedy. This is a movie for 20-somethings and up, because it's about two 20-somethings, Ember and Wade. And if you stick with them and connect with them, you're going to have an excellent experience watching Elemental with lovely music and breathtaking visuals of how they pull a lot of it off is amazing. So it's about the 20-somethings and up having to discover this movie and realize, hey, this movie is actually for us. And if that audience gives this movie a chance and the word of mouth is strong, then it will have steady, small declines over the next several weeks. You do have Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken from DreamWorks opening on June 30th. I have seen Ruby Gillman as well. What I can say about Ruby Gillman is that it kind of serves the under 20 crowd. So you're the under 20 crowd, you're going to Ruby Gilman. You're the over 20 crowd, you should go see Elemental. So if people realize that, discover that. I mean, I wrote the other day that Ratatouille opened to 47 million back in 2007, totaled 206 because the word of mouth was so strong on Ratatouille. Obviously went on to win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. We have a long way to go until we find out if either Elemental or Spider-Verse is nominated for Animated Feature. Ruby Gilman will be in play as well. But we have a long way to go till then. It could have a lot of impact on Disney Plus, a lot of impact in the award season, yes. In terms of the immediacy in the next several weeks, it does have Ruby Gilman as competition, but then not a major animated movie opening in the month of July. You've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles opening August 2nd. So I think Elemental is going to be one of those movies where some people went right away. Some kids are not out of school yet, and even with Monday off, there are a lot of kids who are studying for final exams this weekend and will use Monday as a day to study for final exams. So a lot of kids still aren't out of school yet or in the mindset of, I can take 2.5 hours of my life and go to a film. They're not there yet until Thursday or Friday of this week coming up. So I think Elemental is going to have a small drop next weekend. I could see it doing 17 million plus, and then having steady declines, small declines over the next 5 weeks. I really think it's got the potential to do more than 100 million. I hope it does total. And I think the word of mouth will help it for sure. Transformers had a big drop. It opened to 65 million, something like that last weekend, down to $20 million this weekend. It has hit 100 million for Paramount. That's a huge drop. Again, I think there are some families who don't have kids out yet. I know there's some families who are still going to go see it today, tomorrow, who haven't seen it yet. I think it's a movie that, I didn't love it at all. I didn't love The Flash either. They're not very good films. But I think people are going to catch up on Transformers. Transformers wasn't able to be in a lot of drive-ins because a lot of drive-ins waited for The Flash and Elemental, so they had to sacrifice Transformers in order to get The Flash and Elemental this weekend if you have drive-ins with multiple screens. So Transformers has to be paired with Mission Impossible in July, so I think people who are not seeing it right now may catch up with it at a drive-in as the double feature with Mission Impossible for Paramount, so I could see that, but that's a big drop. Paramount has to be concerned about the impact of the Transformers franchise going from 65 to 20. That is a big drop. Little Mermaid added 11.6 million this weekend. It's paired with Elemental at some drive-ins around the country. Little Mermaid has crossed 250 million. I don't think it gets to 300. The Blackening, which I saw on Friday, which I think is solid. It works better as a mystery suspense thriller than it does as a comedy. But The Blackening made 6 million this weekend. Its budget was 5. It already made more than its budget. It's pretty good for Lionsgate. And I think maybe it'll expand to some more theaters in the coming weeks. It could make a run at getting to maybe 12, 13, 14, 15 million dollars. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 added 5 million. It's at 344.4. I think it gets to 350. And Disney and Marvel will be happy with that. The Boogeyman is doing well. You know, it opened to 12 million, but it's already totaled 33. That's pretty good. People are discovering it and realizing, hey, this movie is pretty good. The Boogeyman added 3.8 this weekend. It's at almost $33 million. And then you've got Fast 10, which added 2 million, 142.4. 30 million less than F9, the Fast Saga, just 2 years ago. That made 173 million. Hobbs and Shaw 2019 also made 173 million. You're at 142 for this? Ooh, that's not great. Rounding out your top 10 this weekend is Asteroid City in just 6 theaters. A movie in just 6 theaters gets into the weekend box office top 10. Wes Anderson's new star-studded Asteroid City, $790,000. Theaters in New York City and Los Angeles. Per screen average of $132,000. I think it's a record for the last 3 years, pandemic period, all of that. That is a huge start for that movie, which goes nationwide in about 1,500 theaters starting this weekend coming up. Past Lives from A24 added 761,000. It's at 1.9 million. I think it's only in, in 80 theaters, 100 theaters. it keeps expanding. Past Lives, a very close 11th place. We'll see maybe when the actual results are released, it gets into the top 10, but I think Focus Features wants this record-breaking number for record-breaking small number of theaters to be in the top 10. That is hard to do. It's very impressive. Now that the Wes Anderson fandom in New York City and Los Angeles has gone to see Asteroid City, what about the rest of the country? And that'll be interesting to find out this week. As Asteroid City really only goes up against one other major new theatrical wide release, and that is No Hard Feelings, starring Jennifer Lawrence, which I saw last night. Sony held nationwide pay-per-view screenings in about 400 theaters. I went to it last night. Packed theater. Theater was packed. Only a couple of empty seats in the whole room. People were there paying their $14 a pop to go see this movie on a weekend when you had The Flash and Elemental as new release options. These people, mostly couples, actually some older people though, some 60, 70, even 80-year-old people there, fans of Jennifer Lawrence, went to see this raunchy R-rated comedy. And the theater was into it for the most part. I am not allowed, critics are not yet able to share their thoughts on No Hard Feelings yet. We will be able to soon. The movie opens this weekend coming up. But I cannot share my thoughts on it yet. What I will say is this. If you've seen the trailer, those moments are in the movie. There are other moments, other comedic moments for sure. But what you saw in the trailer is absolutely in the movie and it's extended out. No Hard Feelings. I think if you look at these numbers now, let's say the Flash could drop to 22, maybe, next weekend. Elemental, I really think, can do about 17. Spider-Verse could drop to 15. That could be another close battle. No Hard Feelings. I'm going to look here because I actually haven't looked yet at what websites like boxofficepro.com are saying that this could do. 14 to 22 that's a wide range. If No Hard Feelings does more than 25 million, it has a shot at being the #1 movie next weekend. Unless Elemental's second weekend, once kids are out of school, is such a small drop that maybe Elemental makes a run at being #1, which would be a nice recovery for Disney and Pixar. But if No Hard Feelings, based off these Saturday night preview showings, and if they were sold out in all 400 theaters, that's a lot of money. If based off of that and what it does this weekend, if No Hard Feelings does 25 million, it could beat The Flash to be the #1 movie next weekend. Or The Flash drops about half, does 27. I think it's going to drop more than half, though. I really do. So No Hard Feelings could be the #1 movie next weekend, which I don't necessarily think Sony expected was going to happen. But now they have a real shot at the #1 movie in America. I will have my thoughts on No Hard Feelings this week before the movie opens and when the movie opens. New animated series premieres tomorrow on Netflix from DreamWorks. It's called Not Quite Narwhal. And I'll have an Animation Scoop Q&A at animationscoop.com, I believe tomorrow, with the makers of that sweet series. The Tribeca Film Festival has been going on, and I've been screening some movies at Tribeca at Home. The Stan Lee documentary, which is okay. It's on Disney+. I've got my full review of that at lights-camera-jackson.com. Also screened the Dan Rather documentary, Rather, the other night from Tribeca at Home. And it's good. It's better than the Stan Lee doc. It is a more intense, dramatic documentary with a lot more to say. First half is okay. Second half is pretty strong. Rather. We'll see what kind of distribution it gets, but screened it through Tribeca at Home. I want to screen 1 or 2 more movies, a lot of documentaries they've got this year. The Tribeca Film Festival has been going on for about a week or so, and congratulations to all the films that won awards. I know Starling won an animated short award. That was an excellent animated short from the Whoopi Goldberg Selection animated shorts curated by Whoopi G. Starting tomorrow, I believe, Tribeca at Home goes to everyone, and you can watch this year's group of 7 excellent animated shorts from the animated shorts curated by Whoopi G collection. All right, if you want more of my thoughts on movies and entertainment, it's Twitter at LCJ Reviews. It's Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. Don't forget to subscribe. YouTube.com/LightsCameraJackson. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do LCJ Live every Sunday, live, noon Eastern. And when we're back here next Sunday, we will see if No Hard Feelings is the #1 movie in America. How will Asteroid City do in wide release? Maybe it does 7 or 8 million. It'll depend on If everyone wanted to go right away, who's in New York and LA, how does the rest of the country do? Maybe 7 or 8 million. We'll see for Asteroid City. And we will preview Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which the box office predictions keep getting lower and lower. We'll have to see. Plus, Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken from DreamWorks is out. And another new animated movie, Nimona, is going to be on Netflix at the end of the month. So we will preview all of that. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Have a good Father's Day. Have a good weekend. Enjoy it. And I'll see you next Sunday for LCJ Live. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.